Hayez's The Kiss, a mute cry for a united Italy. Forget the simple romantic scene. Francesco Hayez's The Kiss is a deceptive work, a double-bottomed masterpiece that has seduced generations. At first glance, it overwhelms us. The burning embrace, the palpable passion, the timeless elegance of two young lovers. It is the perfect image of eternal love, a universal hymn that still makes the heart beat today. This is why it has become an icon, one of the most recognizable paintings in the world. But stop for a moment. There is much, much more beneath the surface of those velvets and that stolen kiss. Hayez, a genius of visual metaphor, sewed a revolutionary message into the very fabric of the painting. That embrace, so intense, is an extremely powerful allegory, a coded symbol for the eyes of Italians of the time. Those two merging bodies represent the deepest yearning of the Risorgimento, the union of Italy, after bloody centuries of divisions and foreign domination. Every detail, the foot on the step, the threatening shadow in the corner, the evocative colors, becomes a piece of a hidden patriotic message. It is precisely this ingenious duality that is its most fascinating secret. The kiss seduces us with its immediate beauty, but then whispers a deeper meaning to us, inviting us to decipher it. Hayez played it cleverly. Under the guise of a universal and innocuous theme like love, he smuggled a cry for freedom and national identity, eluding Austrian censorship. A masterpiece that is simultaneously a passionate declaration of love and a veiled political manifesto. It is not just a painting to admire, it is an enigma to solve. A love story for a person and for the fatherland. This layering of meanings, this ability to speak to the heart and the mind, is what transforms The Kiss from a simple work of art into an enduring myth, still capable of fascinating and making us reflect today. Discovering its secrets is an integral part of its magic. Francesco Hayez, the man who forged the soul of the Risorgimento. Francesco Hayez was a visionary who sculpted the dreams of a nascent Italy onto canvas. Universally celebrated as the undisputed master of Italian Romanticism, his career was a bold journey through styles and emotions, a perfect alchemy between romantic fire and neoclassical rigor. Imagine a young Venetian who in 1803 conquered Rome. Here, among the immaculate marbles of Antonio Canova and the revolutionary geometries of Jacques-Louis David, Hayez absorbed the neoclassical lesson: surgical precision, polished forms, perfect balance. But beneath that controlled surface, a romantic heart already beat. This creative tension was not a limitation. It was his secret weapon. His genius? An explosive synthesis. Hayez fused the overwhelming pathos of Romanticism, love, passion, tragedy, patriotic heroism, with the compositional harmony and formal perfection of neoclassicism. From this are born works that do not merely narrate, they dramatize. Each of his paintings is an emotional stage where characters speak with their gazes and bodies scream feelings. His technique was a silent orchestra serving the revolution. Chiaroscuro became a director of light, sculpting shadows laden with omens and flashes of hope. Color was not simple pigment, but an emotional weapon. It vibrated with passion, darkened in drama, exploded in symbols. The maniacal precision in details, velvets that rustle, architectures that breathe, was not virtuosity for its own sake. It was a secret code. Behind the impeccable beauty, behind the flawless drapery and studied poses, Hayez hid forbidden messages. The neoclassical smoothness was his perfect cover to elude censorship. Every meticulous detail could conceal a patriotic allegory, a cry for the unity of Italy. The romantic emotion moved the heart, while the coded language spoke to the minds of the initiated. He transformed painting into a silent battlefield, where technical mastery was the bait and the political message the trap. It was thus that an artist became the supreme allegorist of the Risorgimento, creating masterpieces that are simultaneously hymns to beauty and manifestos for freedom. A titan who knew how to forge, brushstroke by brushstroke, the visual soul of a nation. Hayez's The Kiss. How a love kiss revealed Italy's dream. In 1859, as Milan breathed the hope-filled air of the Second War of Independence, Francesco Hayez gave life to his most famous work, The Kiss. That simple and universal title, however, concealed a deeper intention, revealed by the full subtitle: An Episode from Youth, Costumes of the 14th Century. This apparent anachronism, the setting in the 14th century, was not an aesthetic whim, but a veil skillfully woven to protect the true heart of the painting, a message of patriotism and political alliance. The work, an oil on canvas, 112 by 88 centimeters, today an icon of the Pinacoteca di Brera, was born from a specific and significant commission. It was requested by Count Alfonso Maria Visconti di Salicedo, a prominent exponent of the liberal Milanese nobility, animated by unitary ideals. Visconti chose Hayez not by chance. The painter was the perfect interpreter to transform into painting the hoped-for alliance between the Kingdom of Sardinia and France, then crucial for expelling the Austrians. In a fragmented Italy gripped by Habsburg censorship, openly expressing such hopes was impossible. Hayez, with love of country in his heart, then devised a subtle and ingenious strategy. He harnessed the universal power of a passionate kiss to convey an allegorical meaning. The intense embrace of the two lovers, wrapped in medieval costumes that made them innocuous in the eyes of the censors, became a powerful metaphor for the union between Italy and France. The painting, completed precisely in the crucial year of Vittorio Emanuele II's entry into Milan, immediately became a symbol. Beyond the romantic beauty, contemporaries grasped the implication. That passion represented the fervent anticipation of liberation and the birth of a united nation. Hayez had transformed a private sentiment into a public icon of the Risorgimento, eluding censorship not through challenge, but through poetry and symbolic intelligence. The choice of such young protagonists is not casual. They symbolize the youth of the nascent nation, charged with that vigor and those promises that animated the country. Hayez's genius lies in the details that speak sotto voce. The colors of the garments, the cold, shining blue of the female dress, from which the purest white shirt peeks out, and the bright red of the male hose are not mere aesthetic choices. They are a calculated reference to the French tricolor, united with the Italian one, highlighted by the green of the male doublet, the red of the hose, and the white of the shirt. A silent tribute to the alliance with France, ratified at Plombières in 1858, then the concrete hope against Habsburg domination. This chromatic coding, inserted into a medieval and romantic scene, was the perfect ploy to escape censorship, transforming art into a vehicle for subversive ideals. But the true depth of the painting lies in its poignant ambiguity. That instant of passion is also a farewell laden with pathos. Clues scattered with mastery suggest this. The man's foot firmly planted on the step, as if about to depart. The hilt of the dagger threateningly emerging from his garment, an omen of danger and conflict. The traveling cloak enveloping him, a sign of an imminent separation. The shadow cast on the left side of the painting has generated various interpretations. Some scholars suggest it might represent an Austrian spy or the ever-present threat of foreign domination. This possibility, although not explicitly confirmed, adds a layer of dramatic tension and urgency to the intimate scene. It transforms a tender private farewell into a moment charged with immediate danger. The rectilinear wall and squared stone blocks constituting the background sharply contrast with the curvilinear, embracing forms of the lovers. This essential scenography concentrates all attention on the passionate yet tense interaction of the protagonists and its symbolic weight. This tension between intimacy and departure transforms the kiss into a sacrifice. Personal love merges with duty towards the homeland. Had Hayez explicitly painted a soldier, censorship would have struck. Ambiguity saved the work, allowing those who knew how to look to grasp the heart-rending message of duty before love. The Kiss is thus a layered masterpiece, a hymn to universal love that is also a coded tale of the birth of a nation. Hayez did not paint just two entwined bodies. He drew the soul of a people journeying towards their own destiny, using the intelligence of symbol and the power of feeling. Hayez's mastery in composition and use of light further amplifies the drama and emotional charge. The light, coming from the left, illuminates the faces and bodies of the lovers, enhancing the forms, the rich colors of their garments, and the intensity of their embrace, making the kiss the undeniable focal point of the work. The many guises of the kiss. The symbolism in the kiss is not static, but evolves with history. The kiss is not a single work, but a series of fascinating variations created by Hayez himself, testament to its continuing relevance and its adaptation to the historical context. Officially, 3 oil paintings of the same subject are known, created in different periods, plus a significant watercolor version. The differences between these versions, although sometimes minimal, are loaded with meaning and reflect the evolution of Hayez's patriotic message in response to the changing Italian political landscape. For example, the 1861 version is distinguished by the woman's white dress, a significant change compared to the blue of the original version. This variation was made in honor of the achieved unification of Italy. In the subsequent 1867 version, Hayez explicitly incorporated green, for example in the man's cloak and a white drape on the steps, thus completing the Italian tricolor and making the patriotic message even more evident. A small bofora window in the upper right, more visible in this latest version, is another detail that differentiates the works. A particularly interesting specimen is the watercolor version, held at the Pinacoteca Ambrosiana in Milan. Created shortly after the original 1859 painting, this version is distinguished by its oval format and was a personal gift from Hayez to his friend Giuseppina Negroni Prati Morosini. The noblewoman was an active figure in Milan's anti-Habsburg circles, and her Milanese salon was frequented by illustrious patriots like Giuseppe Verdi. The existence of multiple versions is not a mere artistic repetition, but a deliberate and sequential reinforcement of the painting's allegorical message. This demonstrates Hayez's active engagement with the evolving political reality of the country. The artist did not merely reproduce a successful image, he updated the allegorical code to reflect the achieved national unity, transforming the painting into a dynamic and living symbol that adapted its message to the progress of the nation. An interesting note regarding fashion in the painting. The female sleeves are not one piece with the dress. They were indeed detachable and were applied to the dress via buttons or laces, as in this case. One could therefore apply sleeves of different fabrics and patterns than the dress. Hence derives the Italian idiomatic expression, è un altro paio di maniche. That's another pair of sleeves, meaning that's another matter entirely. Here the sleeves are elegantly laced, showing the pure white undershirt beneath. Conclusion: an icon of love and freedom. The success of the kiss was immediate and overwhelming from its first exhibition. Its admiration was not limited to Italy, but extended internationally, consolidating Hayez's reputation as one of the great masters of European Romanticism. Its presence in other cultural forms, such as the famous scene in Luchino Visconti's film Senso, further underscores its impact. Francesco Hayez's The Kiss stands as a timeless masterpiece whose resonance transcends its original historical and political context. Its enduring fascination lies in its dual capacity to touch the human soul. On one hand, it is a universal representation of romantic love, capable of resonating with human emotions across the ages. On the other, it is a powerful and persistent symbol of patriotic devotion and the struggle for national freedom. Its lasting relevance and strength derive not only from its aesthetic beauty or romantic theme, but from its profound ability to continually encapsulate and narrate a fundamental story of Italian identity, making it a beacon of national identity. The kiss remains an eternal symbol of love and passion, and a testament to the importance of art in promoting and celebrating humanity's highest values.